right, so today we're going to be talking about the Windows-based version of the MyViewBoard software, and this is just the most powerful version of the MyViewBoard software out there. We've already talked about the web-based version. This has a lot more features that you don't have on the web version, and so we're going to talk about those today. So once you get it installed by either me or Robin, you're going to have the MyViewBoard open. It's going to ask you to sign in. So we're going to sign in with the Microsoft button at the bottom of the little 4 squares. And we're going to sign in with our email address and our password, just like everything else. So this part's going to look pretty familiar. All right, and once you're signed in, yes, once we're signed in, then you're going to have something that looks pretty familiar to the web-based version, or pretty similar to it, but there are some key differences. So the first one is this Windows button at the top. If you tap that, it's going to give you annotation tools that will let you draw or write on your desktop software, your desktop view, whether that's your internet browser. It'll let you draw right on your Google pages or whatever, anything that you have pulled up. So whether you're on a website, a Google Doc, anything that you have pulled up, you'll be able to use these pretty common tools up here. Okay, and if any of these don't look familiar, we'll talk about them when we get farther on in the video. All right, click that little cloud to go back to your viewboard. And the next one down, we're going to skip the little 3 people. That's your sharing option. Sharing's not great on this version. It's actually going to be more useful to you in the classroom if you're doing it from the web-based version. The next thing we have is our screen capture button. So if you've got something that you want to save as an image, anything that you've got on the screen, you can capture that. And you have a few ways to do that. The first is a whole screen capture. You tap it once, it takes a screenshot of the entire page, and it's going to drop it in as an image. So you can move it around, you can resize it, you can make it smaller, you can turn it, rotate it, anything you can do to a normal image, you're going to be able to do that with this feature. Okay, get rid of that. The next option is you can do a selection, and this is a freehand selection tool. So anything that you draw around, oops, I did not do a very good job of that. Let's try that again. Anything that you draw around, it's going to capture. Okay, and it'll drop it in just the same as an image. Okay, resize, shrink, rotate, all that good stuff. The next one is the same. You select an area, but this one's going to make it a rectangle, so it's going to take a nice, perfect rectangular shot. Then the last one is actually one of the coolest features. It gives you screen casting abilities right from your ViewSonic board. So it's going to record everything that's happening on the screen, and then it's going to save it as a video that you can then put into your Google Drive or share into Schoology, whatever you want to do with it. So once you click on that button, it's going to pull a little screen casting option down here, and make sure that we have our audio, yep, so we can see our greens going to show that the microphone can hear us, and it's going to use the microphone from our computer to record everything that we say along with the video. So the students who hear this in the future will get the entire experience of hearing and seeing the lesson. So you've got your little record button down here. We're going to tap that. The resolution's okay. Just going to click the check mark there, give you a countdown, and then it will start recording everything that you do on the screen. So let's just drop in, just grab a little YouTube video. That in there. Okay, close that out. So when I'm done, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit the pause button. Then there's a green button next to it that's going to end my recording, and it's going to drop it in as a video right into my presentation. Now I can watch it right in the presentation, or I can click the save button, and I can actually save it to my Google Drive. I can save it directly to my computer, wherever you want it to go. So I would select my Google Drive, and it'll save it right into a folder that's already created for me. Okay, then click that check button, and it's gonna upload it. It'll just take a second, and boom, you'll have access to that right in your Google Drive to share out to students through whatever method that you would like to do. All right, let's get rid of this stuff on our screen and move on. So our arrow button, that's gonna move our bar. You tap it, it'll jump into the other side of the screen. If you grab it, you can move it just like in the Windows version or the web-based version. The file button is a little bit different. It has a couple of extra options, but it's pretty much going to be the same. You've got a new option. The first one is new. It's going to open up a brand new flip chart. Then you've got your open. So if you have one already saved that you'd like to retrieve, you click that. Then you've got your save button. You can choose where to save it. Once again, I would suggest using your Google Drive. And then the other options you're not going to worry about. All right, next we've got our Magic Box, and our Magic Box has a lot more options this time than it did in the previous video from the web-based version. So first thing that we can do is go to our Google Drive and access anything that's in there. Just kind of look around. You're going to search around for all of your stuff, so you can drag in your images just like we've done before. The big ones over here, you're not going to worry about too much, like the flip chart and that kind of stuff. You're really going to want to focus on this folder button. You're also going to have access to OneDrive, but we're not using OneDrive anymore, so I would skip over that. The next one is our YouTube, just like we used in previous versions. You've got your tool button. This has a few more tools. So we've got the clock, we've got a stopwatch, okay, or a timer, ruler, straight edge, protractor. So there are a lot of things in here that you can kind of mess around with. The spotlight. So the spotlight will just highlight whatever you want to see. I haven't messed with it too much. I think you can make it bigger or smaller or dimmer. Okay, so you just kind of play around with those tools. This one's pretty neat. Clear off our page. So the math one, the one right here with the square root sign, if we drag that over, it's a math input panel is what it's called. Basically, any math equation that you write, it's going to turn it into text, and it's going to look real nice and neat. And you just click insert, and it's going to pop it right into your board for you. So just kind of a neat tool to use. Moving on, you've got your little cloud with the arrow. It's going to have some preloaded images and things. It's not super great, so you probably won't use that all that much. Then you've got your ladybug. So if you have a document camera, you're going to use this ladybug tool right here. Click on the one that you have, and it's going to pull up your document camera. Now the really nice thing about this is you can screenshot whatever is being shown in your document camera. So we've got our page up, and maybe I want to annotate or draw on this page or add something to it. Down here at the bottom, I've got this little shutter button. If I click that one time, it's going to take a screenshot. I can close that, and now I've got an image of my screen right there on my board. So now you can do anything you want to it that you could do with any other image. You can write on it, you can add text to it, you can enlarge it, you can shrink it down, anything that you might want to do. Okay, let's get rid of that guy. All right, moving on, we've got our hand tool. Now our hand tool is called Infinite Canvas. So what you can do is if you don't want to delete everything, you want to save stuff, but you want to get some more real estate. Let's say that you've got, let's bring our picture back. You've got this picture up here, but you're done with it, you want to move on. You click on your hand, and you just drag. All right, it's going to make a liar out of it now. There we go. So you just drag, there we go, the screen down, and then you click off of it. And now you've got a whole bunch more real estate, but you haven't gotten rid of all of the things that you've already put onto your page. So if I click on it again, I can pull it back up, and I can access everything that I've shown before. Then you can also click on that to get back to your original size. Okay, you can also pinch to zoom. Maybe. Okay, maybe not. But you get the idea. So maybe useful. It might be easier just to add a new page down here at the bottom. Totally up to you. All right, then we've got our pen tool. A lot of the features are the same. You've got your colors, you've got your thickness slider, you've got your transparency slider. But then you've got a couple more options for the brushes. You have an actual highlighter this time. You have to use the back of the pen, I'm sorry. Anytime you use the pointy end of the pen, it's going to give you these red lines, the thin red lines. The back of the pen is going to use whatever tool you have selected. So that's going to be our highlighter there. You've got a paintbrush. You've got this laser pen. Not exactly sure how it's different from a highlighter, but it's there. Then you've got this shape pen. And it's just going to draw whatever the items are that you have selected. Kind of kitschy, kind of gimmicky. You can use it as a stamp. You can draw a bunch of them. Totally up to you again. Then you've got this magic line pen, which just kind of will use this kind of background as a pen, and it'll reveal that background, whatever you have selected. Once again, you might have a use for it, you might not, but just wanted to let you know it's there. So let's get back to our regular pen and keep moving on. So you've got your eraser, same deal as the web version. The shapes, you have everything's the same up until you get to this very bottom row. The bottom row is going to give you some additional features. So we've got here some 3D shapes. Maybe. There we go. So you can drag some cubes, you can drag, any of these 3D shapes you have there. You've also got some angle and line tools. So you can draw some 90-degree angles, you can get your angles perfect rather than trying to freehand them anymore, which is nice. Then you have this automatic grid maker. Let me get rid of all this stuff so you can actually see. So if we use that grid maker in our shape tool, it's kind of like inserting a table in a Word document. Then you can resize the cells. You can move it around. And it's just a really quick way to get an easy, really nice looking table dropped into your presentation. So that's where we're going to stop for now. If you would like to learn more about some of the additional features that are available with some of the images and things, then check out the next video.